We don't have fun at the Green River Council meetings. That only happens in Rock Springs. The hour being 7 o'clock, I'll call this meeting to order, and let's have the city administrator and the city attorney lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Mayor,
Councilman Shuttram?
I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's moved by Councilman Shuttram, seconded by Councilman Zimmerman. Is there any discussion?
Mayor,
Councilwoman Bushman?
I motion to amend the agenda to go in executive session for personnel issue,
Executive session to,
discuss personnel issue.
okay. Okay,
You're right.
so you don't, did you get that, Councilwoman? You don't need to
Correct.
add that.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Is there any other comments or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. It's unanimous. First up is citizen requests and other communications. Now's the time for citizens in the audience to be recognized, to speak on items both on the agenda and of general concern for them as citizens of Green River. A limit of 3 minutes for an individual and 5 minutes for a group. Is there anybody? Harry?
Council citizens, my name is Harry Holler. I just wanted to let you know that I just received a letter from, well, a while back from Senator Brasso for something I've done. This is the second senator that I've received communication from. The first one was for our things we did for sending cards and packages to our troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. Senator Enzi, the late Senator Enzi, sent me a flag that flew over the US Capitol. And I did something on my own, too lengthy to go into now, but Senator Barrasso sent me this letter. And I appreciate that very much. And I wanted to let you know that I recently gave my complete library that I've collected over the years worth about $25,000. A lot of them leather-bound books, beautifully illustrated, to the school district. And what books they didn't take, I gave to the library. The librarian called me and she said there were some books that she couldn't take, and she sold them. And I said, that's fine. You still help the library. So that was my main objective there. Getting up there in age, and I didn't want the books to fall by the wayside. That's a lot of money. I love to read, and I collected a lot of very valuable books, like I said, leather bound, very beautifully illustrated, and the school district, a lot of use out of them over the years. And I felt it was an honor to do that for them. And I just want to thank you for letting me take this opportunity to let you know what's going on. It hasn't always been this way in my life, but lately I've tried to make amends for what I've done earlier. And I hope that I've done that. And I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come up here before you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Harry, and thank you for all that you've done, both for veterans and in this case, for the students. And for other people that enjoy reading. You do a great job, Harry. You've been a great citizen all along. We appreciate it. Take care, Harry. Yeah, anybody else? Janet?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me. I'm Janet Hartford, and I apologize for not getting on the agenda earlier. I just kind of lost the week. So primarily, I'm here to let you know about the Mustangs that arrived Tuesday at the Visitor Center. And I realize they're here later than they should have been. And that's due to the fact that the BLM Mustang program has been very busy. The Honor Farm has done a live adoption. So now they're doing adoptions in person, and they hosted an adoption at their facility there in Riverton and did a phenomenal job of adopting out some horses. One of their horses went for $12,000. So to relate that to a domestic horse, that's what I have paid for a registered quarter horse. So that's amazing. So I tell you, these Wyoming horses are very wanted, and people want these horses. So a family in Lander that owns a ranch adopted that horse and 3 other horses. So they paid $12,000, $6,000, $5,000, $6,000 for 4 horses. So that's amazing. That's a great program. And if they have the opportunity to go up and see those adoptions, even if you're not going to get a horse, you can see how well they do with them. So the 2 horses I have up there at the Visitor Center, one's a sorrel gelding from Green Mountain, and he's 2 years old. Super nice, super friendly horse. If you go up there, he'll come right up to the fence and want you to pet him. He's really cute, very friendly. I know there's a friend of mine on Facebook that loves the Green Mountain horses. I have not been a fan of them, but I've had people that have had bad experiences with them. But this guy is very nice, very nice. So he was gathered with his mother, and I think he was probably gathered in November of 2020. The Pinto, which is a bay Pinto, which is a blood bay. Blood is a brighter, so bays can come in dark brown, blood bay, which he looks almost like a sorrel colored. And he's got a black tail and black in his mane, and he would have had black in his, I'll show you another picture of him. So his mother was gathered in 2019, and then he was born in the Rock Springs facility. So he's still a wild horse. So sorry, too far. So this is the sorrel. like I say, Sorrel's a red. And they're both very tall. So he's 14, 3 hands high, very sweet, very friendly. This is him in the wild. This is him and his mother. And his sire's name is Remington. And I think his sire, I don't know why he's red, but I think that's his sire, the black horse to the left. On this bay paint, he's a little more watchy, a little more wary, but he's a very nice horse. So you see what I mean by a blood bay? He almost looks like the same color, has a sorrel. So bays come in this color and then they go from darker brown. So had his legs not been white, they would have been black. So his black mane, black tail, and he would have had black legs. So these are the HMAs. So Green Mountain is there close to Casper. 15 Mile is up closer to Warland. So there's a close-up of that. Green Mountain, you can see on the right-hand close-up, in 15 Mile is a very small area. And the 15 Mile horses do really well. I have a friend of mine that has a 15 Mile horse that's a black horse, and that horse has done a great job with trail competition, extreme trail competition. So they do really good. They're very trainable, do very well. I mean, once you start them out as a horse, they're like any other horse. They train just like you would a domestic horse. So to adopt these horses is $125. So that's a good deal for a halter started horse. If anybody wants to adopt them, get a hold of Kathy Fine at the Wild Horse and Burro program in Rock Springs. I do have a link to the adoption form. You have to have certain requirements you have to meet to adopt them. And I'd like them to be adopted by September 3rd. And I'm hoping they stay in that corral up there until then. This is the 51st anniversary of the Wild Horse Protection Act. So that was enacted by the government. And they're legally in protected status on the government lands. Currently, there's no signs. The horses seem to want to tear down the signs. So stay off the fence. Keep away from, I misspelled their face. Because sometimes, especially the sorrel, they want to kind of nip at you a little bit because they're just babies. And don't get in the corral and don't try and feed them. Next week, depending on the weather, so it's been really stinking hot. So I'm hoping that 5:30 to 6:30, I'll do some demonstrations. I'd like to get a halter on them and do some work with a blanket, get a blanket on them. I know the sorrel will be really easy to get a hold of. I mean, he stands right there and lets me come right up to him, so he'll be fine. I'll work on with that pinto to get him a little better. If there's other times that people want to come and see them, get a hold of me. My number's on Facebook. I'll give away a prize at the demonstration. We're currently doing a Name the Mustang contest. So I have it posted on my Facebook page, or you can take a name into the visitor center. We'll pick a name. I'll have a group of people that'll pick a name at the 1st of August for those little guys. And so the sorrel horse's sire's name is Remington. So maybe some kind of gun name like Walther or Pistol Pete or something like that. So I want to thank the mayor and council for this opportunity to have them there, and the BLM. I just think it's a great opportunity to expose people and visitors for these horses. Sometimes you don't always get to see them when you go up on the wild horse swoop tour. They're like any other wild animal. They're out in the morning. or late at night. And so sometimes I don't get to see them. So these guys are there. You can go see them and they can get a hold of me if they want more information about them or want to see them a little closer. So again, I appreciate that, this opportunity to do that and have them there. That was the reason those corrals were built and why they're there. So I want to thank you again so much. So I know this is the main reason I'm here, but I have two more things real quick.
Sure.
I did a trail competition down at Scotts Bottom. And I want to thank the Parks and Rec Department for helping me out with that. So Chuck did a great job with helping me. He moved some stuff out of the way and moved stuff for me to do a log, like kind of a big crossover. And Sherry come down and saw me move stuff around down there. So I sure do appreciate that help. That was very nice to have that. And then secondly, when I was in the visitor center, I saw that the restrooms are not open and the gal there said that there's a problem with the restrooms. Piping or something, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, it might not be just a reason that's given that because of COVID, you don't want people going in and out of the bathrooms. And so that's a story that's told that they don't work, but they
Oh.
really do. And
Oh,
but when you try to keep people out of the bathrooms because it's not a good situation for the employees that do use them and that sort of thing,
okay.
people don't listen very well. So I kind of think that that's the reason, Janet.
Okay, well, they said it was some kind of piping issue or something, but maybe it was just because of COVID, and I guess I understand that. Last year was COVID, so I understand.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
It seems a shame to have a visitor center
Yeah.
with no
yeah,
restrooms.
yeah,
I know there's porta potties there, but
yeah. Well, the problem is, well, I don't want to belabor the point, but people don't act responsibly and they cause problems.
I understand.
And at a time when you're having an epidemic, that's not okay.
I understand. I have a few giveaways if anybody wants some carabiners, some pens, what else do I have in here? I have stuff. Okay,
And I don't know, I'm going to jump in ahead of Zimmerman here. But thanks so much for doing this program, Janet, because I know I enjoy going down and looking at them, and I'm sure lots of people, lots of visitors do too. And a lot of people in the community.
last year, I had all kinds, like on the weekends, I had all kinds of tourists.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on with them.
Did you want to say something, Jim?
Yeah, I have an amazing but true story. When I lived in Pennsylvania, I worked for Old Castle Materials, and I had a very large concrete customer, and he was Amish. And this is years before I even knew where Wyoming was. This was years ago. And with the Amish, they don't drive. They don't drive cars, or they have buggies
Right.
and horses and stuff. So he had a large business, and he, how large an Amishman's business is how many Mennonites he hires, because he hires one Mennonite for each crew, because they're the ones that have to drive. So, but I remember this guy telling me point blank that he was taking the big trip out to Rock Springs, Wyoming to get his horses. I'll never forget that. And here I am. That's just amazing. That it's true. And that's amazing they came from Pennsylvania, Amishmen. And I bet you there's a lot of Amish that get horses out here.
So Arrow Bells will come out here and get horses from on a farm, some starter horses. because they're sturdy, double tough, good with the mountains, and they use them for their sheep herders.
Well, if you find a Shelby Mustang, I'll pay $125. Just let me know. Okay, I know it's not maybe a Sorrel, but if it's a Shelby, I'll take a red one will work. A red one will work.
Okay. Thank you, Janet.
It's true. My story's true.
Okay, council action items. Item A, consideration of a contract with Castle Cleaning. This is it. Go ahead, Brad.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Brad Rainey, Parks and Recreation Director. This is a contract to provide custodial services at the rec center. This company has done it for a long, long time, as long as I've been here, and goes way past that. They do a really good job. They're not raising the price. This is like the only contract that I've seen or anything that I've seen that hasn't raised their price. So that's exciting. We have, we look at what the cost would be if we did it in-house. It's very similar for direct costs. If we were to do it in-house, get all the supplies, and the rec center is a big building. But when you get into administrative costs and things like that, this is a good deal for the city.
Great. Anybody have any questions for Brad? Okay, thank you, Brad. This is pretty straightforward. Let's have a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Zimmerman.
I move to approve the contract for custodial services with Castle Cleaning Incorporated for the Recreation Center pending legal approval.
Second.
Okay, it's moved by Councilman Zimmerman, seconded by Councilman Kilpack. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Galen, I assume you have no problems with the contract, right? Okay. Item B, consideration to approve the submission of an ARPA WyoLink equipment grant application to the Wyoming Department of Transportation. Right?
Mayor and Council, Ryan Russ, Government Affairs and Grants. Last session, the legislature set aside $4.5 million in the ARPA funding that they received for a grant program to allow local governments to put in for radio communications equipment that is compatible with the statewide WyoLink public safety communications system. There is no match required for this grant. Since putting this on the agenda, we've received a quote of $302,390 for the radio equipment for the fire department and a few items for the police department. And I'll continue to work with the chiefs as we develop this application and get the appropriate level of funding. The deadline to apply is July 29th, and we're just simply asking for your permission to do so. With that, I'll answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions for, go ahead, Councilman Berg.
And as I understand it, no matching funds.
That's correct.
We like those kind of grants. So let's have a motion.
Mayor.
Councilman Shuttrin. Oh, I'm sorry. You moved forward like you were gonna say something, Mike. Go ahead, Gary.
No. Let Mike do it.
Go ahead, Mike.
I move to approve the submission of an ARPA WyoLink equipment grant application to the Wyoming Department of Transportation.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Councilman Shuttrin, seconded by Councilman Kilpack. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item 6 is the consent agenda. We have a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Kilpack.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, moved by Councilman Kilpack, seconded by Councilman Bushman. There's no discussion on the consent agenda. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. This is a quick. Mr. City Administrator.
Mayor, Council, thank you. Just want to let you know, we had the services for former Fire Chief George Nomas yesterday. Was well attended, and our fire department did a great job. They had a lot of the older retired fire the captains, lieutenants, and those people also that were in attendance. We did a good job with the ladders crossing over the cemetery with the Rock Springs ladder and ladder 2. Lunch and learn tomorrow at noon, if you get a chance to go to that one. The company that is reported here to the county commissioners this morning is something that we're working with SEDC, working with the state. It'll be another company that they're kind of sharing a little bit about what they're doing, but basically built around carbon capture. And they have some really, really big plans. We're looking to get something out in the Granger area. They're hopefully sometime in about the middle of August to make an announcement on that, but they are getting out and talking to the groups right now, letting them know what they're doing. And there are some secondary and tertiary businesses that are going to fall in behind that could be really good for us as well. So if you get a chance to see that, that'd be good. He's also going to be out at the airport from 3:30 to 5 tomorrow as well, if you have that chance. And then, as you heard from Ryan about the grant, trying to apply for that, we've have been just received a notice on a couple of the grants that we had approved here in the last 1 or 2 council meetings to go after. And some of those are from the ARPA funds, and the total about $204,000 having to do with the generators and also with cameras at the rec center. So they're doing a great job between Ryan and the department heads and looking for these funds, and all these things are stuff that we need, and anything we can do from grant work is going to be a benefit for us here. So I appreciate you allowing us to go after these. Thanks.
Thank you, Reed. Mr. City Attorney.
I have no report tonight, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Galen. I just want to say a couple things about George Nomis. You know, he was in the fire department. Reed might have said this, but for 44 years, 9 years, he was a chief. And it does say here in his obituary that one of his proudest moments was the fire training tower. Everybody's aware, I think, here that, you know, where that's at, and very important for the training for our firemen. And George had a major role in making that happen there by the rodeo grounds. So he was an outstanding citizen, and he gave a lot to the city. So he'll be missed. Councilman Zimmerman.
Shop local, buy American. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Jim. Councilman Berg.
I have nothing to report tonight.
Thank you, Robert. Councilman Shetron.
Just a reminder to everybody that on the 25th of this month, there's going to be an open house for the Sweetwater BMX, the new track down by just north of or south of Zowie Fields down there. So 5:30 that afternoon. So if you can go down there and support them and be a good outlet for these kids to give them something to do in the summertime.
That's that's next Monday, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be kind of neat. Councilman Bushman.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to let everyone know that we had the American Legion National Commander out here visiting our posts, and we had a dinner Sunday night at Hitching Post, which was really nice. It's a huge honor when the National Commander comes out. So it was a good time to meet him. I also attended the Downtown Not Dead. The museum was doing historical tour while we were in the wagon and riding around town, and he did a fabulous job. He was very enthusiastic. I love that guy. He was good. And then just one other thing I just wanted to bring up, just a reminder that there's a federal national hotline, Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's 988, and it's also for veterans. And I just wanted to kind of let the public know it's for veterans crisis lifeline. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Bushman. Councilman Jost.
I have no report tonight.
Thank you, George. Councilman Kilpack.
I have no report.
Thank you, Councilman Kilpack. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Executive.
Oh, pardon me. I'll entertain a motion to move to executive session. I almost made it through without.
Motion to go to executive session.
Second.
Personnel
issues.
Or personal issues.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. We're adjourned to executive session, and we don't expect to make any decisions tonight. So basically what I'm telling you is the meeting's over, except that we're going to go do executive session.